Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission here is pretty straightforward. We take your sources, articles, notes, research, and pull out the key insights, the nuggets you need to know. Think of it as your shortcut to getting informed, maybe with a few surprising facts thrown in. Today, we're plunging into a really fascinating mix. We've got stuff on the future of flying, some unsettling finds in everyday food, and even a peek into what one source calls the real world of power. Get ready for some surprising connections, maybe challenge how you see things a bit.
It's definitely a compelling set of sources, and they really highlight the diverse and sometimes conflicting information we all wade through. Our goal is to help you navigate that, understand what's really important, and maybe, spark some aha
Sure.
moments, tie some threads together.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with something that sounds like tier sci-fi, but maybe isn't so far off: airplanes with no windows.
Right. The idea being you replace the actual windows with screens.
Yeah, high-def screens showing panoramic views from outside cameras. The thinking, apparently, is it creates this immersive feeling. They even suggest it could help people, afraid of heights.
Mm.
But the really wild part, and this isn't some far future dream, the sources say this could be here within, like, the next 10 years.
Yeah.
It does make you wonder, though, seriously, would you feel okay in a plane with no actual windows, just screens?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it, how technology is really pushing the edges of our physical experience. It's blurring those lines between what's real and what's, well, simulated. The key insight here isn't just, oh, no windows. It's more about our evolving trust in mediated reality.
Unique reality.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
relying on tech to show us the world outside. And that raises a pretty fundamental question about how we perceive things, how we trust what our senses are telling us when it's filtered through a screen. It really shifts our relationship with the environment.
That's a really good point. Trusting the filter.
Hmm.
And speaking of cutting edge tech blurring boundaries, humanity might have just taken a big step toward, the holy grail of science fiction.
Ah, the brain-computer connection.
Exactly. One source points to a new development from MIT, a device that allows for that direct link,
Hmm.
brain to computer.
Right. And if we connect that to the bigger picture, like, this isn't just about, controlling a mouse pointer with your thoughts.
No, much bigger.
Much bigger. The real insight is the potential to redefine communication itself. Learning. Imagine the possibilities for people with certain neurological conditions,
Wow. Yeah.
or even just for education, information transfer.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental shift how we interact with knowledge, with each other. It potentially opens up this whole new frontier for, well, human cognition.
Hmm.
And it raises those big questions again, doesn't it? What does it mean to be connected in that way? Are inner thoughts interacting directly with, outside systems?
Okay, so from that high level cutting edge tech,
Mm-hmm.
let's switch gears completely to something way more mundane, but maybe just as unsettling because it hits so close to home. Finding plastic in your food.
Oh, right. That source.
Yeah, one of your sources gives this really vivid personal story. Someone cooking cabbage, just a regular Sunday morning,
Mm.
and literally tearing plastic out of it, just embedded in the cabbage.
Wow.
And the person said they'd seen videos before, people posting about plastic and food, but they were always kind of skeptical.
Until it happened to them.
Exactly, until this direct, undeniable thing right there in their kitchen.
That specific story, it's a really powerful illustration, isn't it, of these hidden anomalies popping up in everyday life. The key insight isn't just that it happened, but how it shatters your assumptions. It forces you to confront something totally unexpected.
Yeah.
And it raises that important question about, well, the hidden stuff in our food supply chains, the unintended consequences.
Is it just a one-off?
Right. Is it an isolated manufacturing glitch, or is it, something bigger, systemic? With materials or processing. It's just a stark reminder that sometimes the most surprising and, frankly, unsettling facts can appear in the most ordinary places. Makes you question your groceries.
That's a great way to put it, questioning your groceries. And it ties back this idea of unseen consequences,
Yeah.
whether it's mediated reality through screens or physical stuff in our food. Now, let's zoom out a bit to some broader observations in the sources that point towards, well, potentially larger, less visible phobises.
Okay.
Starting with the skies. One person source is from Phoenix, Arizona. They observed not a single cloud in the sky,
Clear day.
but noted aerial disbursement, suggesting something unnatural was happening up there.
Very real disbursement.
They also mentioned extremely high UV indexes, like 12s and 13s, and described feeling manhandled with HARP radiation.
Right. So, okay, this observation, as the source presents it, It really taps into significant public concern and a specific way of interpreting what's happening environmentally. When the source says aerial disbursement, they're likely referring to what gets called chemtrails in some circles.
Right, I've heard that term.
The belief that those lines in the sky aren't just normal contrails from planes, but chemicals or biological agents being deliberately sprayed,
Yeah.
often linked to ideas about geoengineering or other hidden agendas.
Okay, and the HARP part.
Yeah, HARP. That's the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It's a real research facility. Originally military funded, studies the ionosphere, but it's become a huge focus for various conspiracy theories, weather manipulation, mind control, that sort of thing.
So the source connects the clear sky, the alleged disbursement, high UV, and this feeling about HARP radiation altogether.
Exactly. Now, we're just reporting what the source says, not endorsing these specific claims, obviously. But the existence of these interpretations is the key insight here. It points to this broader societal attempt to make sense of environmental changes, or things people perceive as manipulations, often fueled by a deep distrust of official explanations.
Right, so people trying to piece together phenomena through this lens of potential hidden control. And that kind of brings us neatly to a broader theory of control within society itself.
Yeah.
You know, we hear about groups like the Illuminati.
The usual suspects.
Yeah, and the common ideas about power centers like the Vatican, the City of London, Washington, D.C.
Standard view.
But your source offers a really different take. It suggests those places, those institutions, they're just main tools.
Fools. Okay, for what?
For the real power.
Yeah.
Which, according to this source, isn't in those visible places at all. It lies deeper in what the source calls shadow banking.
Shadow banking.
The source gets pretty dramatic, says that's the real world, and, quote, the official world is not the real world. And in this supposed real world, the source claims you can, like, switch identity by day, fake any paper you want, where we create our own rules, but the rules are always coming from, let's say, upstairs.
Okay, that perspective.
Okay.
It speaks volumes about a profound distrust in established systems, doesn't it?
Definitely.
And a strong belief in these hidden, powerful groups operating outside the public eye. Now, shadow banking itself, just to clarify.
Yeah, what does that actually mean?
It basically refers to financial activities and institutions operating outside the regular regulated banking system. Think hedge funds, money market funds, complex derivatives, things without the same oversight as your typical high street bank.
Got it. Less regulated money.
Exactly. And the key insight from the source here is its assertion that this opaque, unregulated financial world is where the real power lies, that it dictates the rules for the official world. It raises huge questions about transparency, obviously, about global power structures. How are decisions really made, especially if a big chunk of the global financial system operates with limited scrutiny? It really challenges that conventional view of who holds the reins.
And this line of thinking, this distrust, it takes us to an even more, well, extreme viewpoint in your sources.
Okay.
The idea that, quote, all our society is run by insane people for insane objectives, or maniacs for maniacal mean ends.
That's quite a statement.
It is. The source expresses this deep frustration, a desire to just know what governments, American, Russian, Chinese, are actually trying to achieve, feeling like they're all insane.
Right. That viewpoint, while definitely extreme in its language, it reflects a really deep cynicism, doesn't it? A profound disillusionment with global governance, with political systems generally.
Yeah, it feels like that.
It suggests this perceived lack of any clear, rational purpose, maybe even a lack of a moral compass, behind what powerful nations and their leaders do. The insight isn't necessarily about literal insanity, but it captures that palpable frustration, that sense of powerlessness some people feel when they look at world events and see things as illogical or destructive or serving hidden agendas instead of, the common good.
A call for transparency again, maybe. Or just understanding motivations.
Exactly. It's questioning those fundamental motivations on the global stage.
It's definitely an unsettling thread running through some of these sources, this idea of unseen forces, hidden rules, questionable motives. Let's transition now to the impact of rapid tech rollout, specifically 5G cell towers.
Ah, yes, the 5G debate.
Your sources highlight millions of these towers going up everywhere to enable faster 5G, often right outside bedroom windows on school campuses.
Right near where people live and work.
Yeah, exactly. And this is happening despite a lot of objections from communities all over. Because, as the sources claim, there are apparently few legal arguments to deny putting them up.
The legal framework favors deployment.
Seems like it. And all this alongside ongoing widespread concerns about potential health effects.
Yeah, what's fascinating there is that clear tension. You've got the push for technological progress, the public health concerns, and then the regulatory environment they operate in. The key insight is how the current laws seem stacked in a way, prioritizing rapid infrastructure deployment over those local community concerns. It creates this feeling of powerlessness for residents. It really underscores that challenge. How do you balance innovation with community well-being, especially when the supposed benefits are widespread, but the potential risks feel very local, very concentrated?
Yeah.
It forces you to ask, who's bearing the cost here and who really holds the power when it comes to this relentless march of tech progress.
And that power dynamic comes through really clearly when we talk about lobbying.
Yes. The influence game.
Your source points out that firefighters who are known to be strong lobbyists, they actually got specific exemptions regarding these 5G towers because of their health concerns.
Interesting. An exception was made.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, right? If school teachers or parents had a lobby group as strong, as effective, would things be different for towers near schools?
It's a fair question.
Apparently, one official, according to the source, basically admitted they'd only back a move to prevent towers near schools, quote, if I couldn't get the votes any other way.
Wow. That's quite candid. And that example just perfectly illustrates the disproportionate influence that well-organized interest groups can have on policy. The core insight is that laws don't always just emerge from, universal public need or scientific fact alone. They can be significantly shaped by who has the most effective lobbying operation. It highlights how the political process can amplify certain voices, certain concerns over others, creates an uneven playing field when it comes to policies that really affect communities, public spaces, health. It's a stark reminder of political leverage.
Okay, now, on to something else entirely. The creation of the U.S. Space Force.
Right, that got a lot of attention. And some jokes.
It did face a fair bit of public mockery initially, but your sources clarify something important. A Space Force kind of already existed.
Sort of, under the Air Force.
Yeah, the United States Space Command, operating under the Air Force umbrella.
So this was making it a separate, distinct branch.
Exactly. A full-fledged branch of the armed forces.
Yeah.
And the projected annual budget, somewhere between $11.3 and $21.5 billion.
That's a serious budget.
It is. And the stated purpose, to, quote, write the next great chapter in the history of our armed forces, preparing for the next battlefield, to deter and defeat a new generation of threats.
Okay, so connecting that to the bigger picture, establishing Space Force really reflects a major strategic rethink about national security, specifically in the space domain.
Seeing space differently.
Absolutely. The key insight isn't just the rebranding or shuffling boxes on an org chart. It's the formal recognition, the elevation of space as this critical arena. For global power projection, yes, but also potential conflict.
The next battlefield.
That's the language they use. It signals this profound shift in military doctrine, adapting to what they perceive as new threats, ensuring a competitive edge in what's clearly becoming a militarized frontier.
And the budget reflects that seriousness.
Definitely. That kind of money shows how seriously this strategic shift is being taken. Acknowledging space is integral now to future defense, future economic interest.
Okay, so to kind of wrap up our deep dive through all these different sources, let's touch on a couple more things. One very personal, one corporate.
Right.
First, a really quite poignant story about regaining confidence.
Okay.
Your sources describe someone who lost their confidence after a hospital stay, facing potential backlash, and took them a year and a half, a long time, to get back the confidence to, quote, stand up and put on the hat no matter what the consequences were.
Yeah.
And they ended this thought with, love you, the Hill.
The Hill. Wow.
Yeah.
That little nugget, it speaks volumes, doesn't it, about personal resilience.
Yeah.
And just the immense courage it takes sometimes to face public scrutiny or perceived negative outcomes, especially after you've been vulnerable. The insight here is that profound, often hidden struggle that people, maybe public figures or people in tough spots, go through. It shows the sheer effort needed just to get back on your feet, stand firm in what you believe, despite all the pressure.
And the Hill.
Yeah, it implies this challenge, right? A battle, a climb. A very personal journey to overcome whatever adversity they faced. Powerful stuff.
It really is. And finally, just quickly, on the corporate front, a significant leadership change at Tesla.
Yeah.
Earlier this month, Tesla announced Robin Denholm will be the new board chair, replacing Elon Musk.
Right. That happened. And that detail, while it's specific to one, very high-profile company,
Mhm.
it represents a broader insight.
Which is
Just the constant churn, the evolution within major corporations. The key takeaway is how leadership changes like that. Right at the top, they often signal shifts in governance, maybe strategic direction, the overall corporate philosophy even.
a changing of the guard can mean more than just names.
Exactly. It's just a reminder that even the biggest, most talked about companies are always subject to internal shifts, restructuring, strategic changes. And those changes can send ripples through an entire industry.
Okay, wow. What a journey through this really unique stack of sources today.
It really was diverse.
From the, fascinating and maybe slightly unsettling future tech, windowless planes, brain-computer links to those intricate hidden webs of global power.
Shadow banking, lobbying.
Right. And then the totally unexpected, like plastic in your cabbage.
Yeah.
And that very human story of getting your confidence back. We've really pulled out some surprising nuggets.
And our goal really was just to help you quickly grasp what's most important in all these different pieces. It seems clear, doesn't it? Our world is constantly being shaped by forces we see and forces we don't.
Definitely.
From tech racing ahead to the influence of finance, lobbying, and the ability to critically assess all this information, to sort claims from facts, understand the implications. It's just more vital than ever.
So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you, listening right now,
Yeah.
after this deep dive into hidden controls, future tech, these unexpected discoveries? What aspect of our rapidly changing world do you feel is most important to maybe investigate a bit more on your own?
Is it that relationship between tech and how we perceive reality? Or maybe the invisible forces shaping global decisions? Lots to think about.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep digging for those insights.